The American Red Cross has a shelter open in Perry County for flood victims at the Crooksville High School. Kevin Landers is on the phone there with the latest. Kevin?
Well, major problems here in Crooksville because of the flooding. The Main Street Bridge was closed about a half hour ago, preventing people from getting from one side of the town to the other. Now, take a look at these pictures. This is from the Village Green North Apartments. Around 6 o'clock this morning, residents say water began seeping into their homes and that a mandatory evacuation was ordered. There are at least 50 people here who are now waiting for the water to recede so they can get back into their properties and try to protect their belongings. The high water also forced an evacuation of a mobile home park next door. People here say it hasn't flooded this bad since the last heavy rain in 2004. Now, because of the high water, all of the town's emergency vehicles have now been moved to higher ground. The fire department is shut down because of water encroaching into the building, and there is concern among EMS people here that they may not be able to respond to people in need as quickly as they can because that Main Street Bridge is down. We're continuing to watch the waters rise here in Crooksville, and we will be here throughout the day monitoring the events as they become available. And we'll bring you the details when we get them. Reporting live in Crooksville, Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
All right, Kevin, thank you. The flooding in Perry County is also hurting businesses. 10 TV News reporter Shayla Reeves with the story of how high water in the city of Corning is impacting folks there.
Right now, we're standing in a playground flooded by all of the rain that fell overnight. And even as that water begins to recede, the work for people here in Corning is just beginning. Josh Altier says this is the 8th time he's seen his mom's business of 25 years underwater. A recent salon renovation turned into a muddy mess.
It was just blowing through. It was about 4 feet high. I mean, everything was washed up against the walls.
Around Corning, neighbors are drying out from an overnight storm that made it tough to reach their town. Pooling water and heavy debris slowed drivers trudging throughout Perry County. Resident Stacy Dannison is saving what's most important from her home while taking in what's gone.
It's a nightmare because I ain't never had to go through something like this.
Here on Adams Street, this boat floated about 100 yards and landed here. It's here where the Reed family woke up to 4 flooded vehicles, water up to the windshield.
It was going to be paid off in December of this year.
With an engine soaked, Tara Reed says she didn't have a way to get to work. In the back seat, pages of library books stuck together like mud to the seats. At least a foot of water reached the inside of this apartment despite the sandbags left outside the doors. Some neighbors we spoke with said they described seeing people rescued by boat this morning. The most water some say they've seen since 1998. Reporting in Corning, Shayla Reeves, 10 TV News.
Chopper 10 has been over the scene of some of those hard-hit areas that were, as you can see here, just underwater there. So Chopper 10 giving you a really good view. 10 TV's Maureen Cosat is live in Chopper 10 right now, and Chopper 10 is over even more flooded areas. Maureen?
At Chasey, the cleanup effort is really getting underway now. We're actually live over the town of Corning in Perry County. I want to take you to pictures outside so you can see what we're talking about. This is where Shayla was on the ground. And if you look now, just to the right of your screen, we'll zoom in to show you, but firefighters have been trying just to remove all of the dirt, all of the mud, all of the debris washed over the roadway now that the flood waters have receded. This town was one of the hardest hit by that severe flash flooding that happened overnight. It was just before 6 o'clock this morning that authorities in Perry County made the call to declare a flooding emergency. You heard Shayla talk about those evacuations early this morning when it was still dark outside. They were rescuing as many as 20 people from a flooded apartment building, including some infants. So certainly some scary moments for folks living here this morning, but now they certainly have their work cut out for them as they try to clean up all the mess left behind. Reporting live in Perry County, Maureen Cosat, 10 TV News.
Maureen, thank you for that. Red Cross volunteers are also out in Morrow County. Flooding in Mount Gilead has left dozens of people out of their homes. 10 TV's Chuck Strickler is live now with the latest. Chuck.
Well, the Whetstone Creek here in Mount Gilead started rising rapidly overnight. It is just to our right here. You can actually hear the rush of the water, and you can see how the floodwaters here just extend all the way down here. That road closed all the way there. And take a look at this. This is what is happening right now. The floodwaters, of course, spilling over into this yard, and they have surrounded the Thistlewood apartment complex. 5 buildings evacuated this morning. Thankfully, everybody got out before the water got too high. There is a lot of relief that everyone is safe today, but Everyone is also very worried how high the floodwaters will go. Tell me how you're doing with dealing with it.
It's just overwhelming. Overwhelming. I've never experienced anything like this. You see it on TV. One of the residents that lives here has seen this before, and she woke us up, and we immediately started waking everyone else up because we could see that it was getting deeper and deeper.
Jeannie Snipes is the apartment manager here holding her granddaughter, Lainey. Again, everybody okay here, thankfully. Now, there is some other flooding reported around town over on Lee Street. The Red Cross was helping about 75 people with flood kits over there. Also, the city garage, that's been flooded. Part of the fairgrounds here in Morrow County also flooded. We're also told that the dog shelter was evacuated overnight. Neighbors here are helping with food. A couple people have opened their trucks and have just been helping out and support where they can. The local senior center as well, helping where they can is for all these people that have been displaced from this apartment complex. For now, it's really just a waiting game. Everybody here hoping that it doesn't rain anymore and that the floodwaters go down as quickly as they came up. Reporting live here in Mount Gilead in Morrow County, Chuck Strickler, 10 TV News. Back to you.
All right, Chuck, thank you. Let's go now to Richland County. The high water forced the closure of several streets in the city of Mansfield. 10 TV News reporter Jennifer Gerald is there. Jennifer, bring us up to speed on the conditions there now.
Well, most of the city is drying out right now, but there are still several areas that remain underwater at this hour. Take a look at this video. This is North Main Street, right under the Route 30 overpass. You can see all of the water there along the roadway, and probably 3 to 4 feet of water. And if you look closely, you can see a car in that water. That car is nearly submerged in the flood water. We did check with police, and they tell us they believe the vehicle was left there and that no one was injured. Not too far from there, over on Park Avenue East, a very similar scene. Floodwater covering that stretch of roadway under the railroad tracks. And we also made a stop on Mulberry Street. We stopped by H&H Plumbing and Heating, where employees weren't working on air conditioning units, but instead they were mopping up water and mud. The owner tells us there was about 2 inches of water inside his shop when he arrived around 7 o'clock this morning, and that water, he says, did cause some damage.
There'd be some things that got ruined, that some more in the stock room in the back, and of course the mud that comes with it. 2 inches of water and 1 inch of mud, so it's like that's what's always a mess to clean up.
I just got off the phone with Richland County's EMA director, and he says Mansfield is not the only area in the county experiencing flooding today. He sent us these photos from Belleville. He says the water is still rising in Belleville, and they are also asking several people in several of the Belleville businesses to evacuate the area because of the flood water. He also says to our north in Shelby, they are also experiencing some substantial flooding in that area as well. Reporting live in Mansfield, Jennifer Gerald, 10 TV News.
All right, Jennifer, thank you. Remember to stay with 10 TV on the air and online at 10tv.com for the very latest on the flooding aftermath.